The Sampit conflict or Sampit War or Sampit tragedy was an inter-ethnic riot that occurred on the island of Kalimantan in 2001. This started on February 18, 2001, and this conflict lasted throughout the year. This conflict broke out in the city of Sampit, central Kalimantan, before finally expanding to all provinces in Kalimantan, including the capital city of Palangkaraya. This conflict involves two ethnic groups, between the native Dayak tribe and Madurese immigrants from the island of Madura. The conflict broke out on February 18, 2001 when two Madurese residents were attacked by a number of Dayaks. This conflict resulted in more than 500 deaths, with more than 100,000 Madurese displaced in Kalimantan. From data reports, quite a few Madurese residents were also found beheaded by the Dayak community during this conflict. The 2001 Sampit conflict was not an isolated incident, because there had been several previous incidents between Dayak and Madurese residents. The last major conflict occurred between December 1996 and January 1997, resulting in 600 deaths. The first Madurese arrived in Kalimantan in 1930 under a transmigration program initiated by the Dutch colonial government and continued by the Indonesian government. Then in 2000, transmigrants made up 21% of the population of central Kalimantan. The Dayak tribe is dissatisfied with the competition that continues to come from increasingly aggressive Madurese. New laws have enabled Madurese to gain control over many of the province's commercial industries such as timber, mining and plantations. There are a number of stories explaining the 2001 riot incidents. One version claims that this was caused by an arson attack on a Dayak house. Rumors say that this fire was caused by Madurese residents and then a group of Dayak tribe members started burning houses in Madurese settlements. KMA Yusop from the Dayak Community Association claimed that the massacre by the Dayak tribe was carried out in self-defense after several of their members were attacked. Apart from that, it was also said that a Dayak resident was tortured and killed by a group of Madurese residents after a gambling dispute in Karingpangi village on December 17, 2000. Another version claims that this conflict began with a fight between students of different races at the same school. At least 100 Madurese were beheaded by the Dayak tribe during this conflict. The Dayak tribe has a history of the ritual practice of headhunting or what is known as nagayo, although this practice is thought to have disappeared at the beginning of the 20th century. The scale of the massacre made it difficult for the military and police to control the situation in central Kalimantan. Relief troops were sent to assist troops already stationed in the province. Then on February 18, the Dayak tribe succeeded in taking control of Sampit. Police detained a local official who is suspected of being one of the masterminds behind this attack. The detained person is suspected of paying 6 people to provoke riots in Sampit. Police also detained a number of rioters after the first massacre. Then, thousands of Dayak residents surrounded the police station in Palangkaraya while demanding the release of the prisoners. The police complied with this request and on February 28, the military succeeded in dispersing the Dayak crowd from the streets. However, sporadic riots continued throughout the year. At night, in Sampit City, East Kotawaringin Regency, central Kalimantan. Precisely in the early hours of Sunday, February 18, 2001 at exactly 01:00 WIB. A group of Dayak residents attacked the house of a Madurese named Mateo on Jalan Padat Karya. After the incident, 4 people were declared dead and 1 person was seriously injured, and all of them were Madurese residents. The attack, which was suspected to be an act of revenge, was met with resistance. In the morning, at around 08:00 WIB, a number of Madurese residents came to the house of a Dayak named Tamil who was suspected of hiding one of the perpetrators of the attack. At that time, Tamil was successfully arrested by the police, but the dissatisfied Madurese residents immediately set fire to his house. Angry Madurese residents also attacked the house of Timil's relatives and killed the 3 occupants. Not long after this incident, Precisely at 12:00 WIB, the South Kalimantan Police Mobile Brigade troops totaling 103 personnel under the control of the Central Kalimantan Regional Police BKO arrived in Sampit. Dozens of suspects and evidence of sharp weapons were taken to the Central Kalimantan Police Headquarters in Palangka Raya. However, the situation is increasingly becoming less conducive. Until the next day, Monday, February 19 to be precise, many bodies were found lying in various corners of the city of Sampit. Likewise with home attacks and burning vehicles. This condition prompted the Deputy Governor of Central Kalimantan to send assistance from 276 TNI personnel from Infantry Battalion 631, ATG to Sampit that same evening. As a result of the conflict, the situation is increasingly tense. Due to this conflict, on 18 and 19 February 2001, Sampit city was completely controlled by residents from Madura. For 2 days since the attack on Mateo's house, the madurese managed to survive, and even dared to carry out sweeping crimes against Dayak residents' settlements. However, this condition reversed on February 20, 2001, when a large number of Dayak people from outside the city came to Sampit. Inland Dayak residents from various locations in the Mentaya River Basin, DAS, such as Saruyan, Ratua Pulit, Parangjian, Katingan Hilir, and even Burrito came to the city of Sampit via the Mentaya River downstream near the port. Hundreds of Dayak residents infiltrated the bombing area and its surroundings, which is a center for assistance for madurese residents. They were able to beat back the madurese residents who were affected on various corners of Sampit Street. In the following days, waves of attacks by Dayak residents continued to arrive. In fact, before attacking, a Dayak figure or commander reportedly first provided his troops with invulnerability knowledge. Therefore, when carrying out attacks, they are usually subconscious. In fact, they are also equipped with a sharp sense of smell to distinguish madurese from non-madurese. Having the upper hand, the Dayak residents expanded their attacks to various places in East Kotawaringin. The Dayak people practically control almost the entire area of Central Kalimantan, except for Pangkalan Bun, which remains safe because almost no madurese live in this place. The National Human Rights Commission, Komnas HAM, noted that at least this inter-ethnic conflict has caused around 400 casualties. According to police data, more than 319 houses were burned and around 197 others were damaged. Meanwhile, according to data from the East Kotawaringin police, the number of victims who died from both parties who suffered from Sampit was 315 people. The number of houses burned was 583 and 200 damaged. Meanwhile, 8 cars and 48 motorbikes were damaged. As a result of these losses, it was recorded that at least 33,000 people took refuge in shelters and more than 23,800 migrants were evacuated out of Kalimantan. In turn, they were evacuated using TNI ships. The Sampit riots, which spread to all corners of Central Kalimantan, only really ended around mid-March. To end this conflict, a peace agreement was made between the Dayak and Madurese tribes. For the peace speech, a peace monument was built in Sampit. Facts about the 2001 Sampit riots are not an isolated event. Because there had been several previous incidents between Dayak and Madurese residents. Moreover, the last major conflict occurred in December 1996 and January 1997, which resulted in 600 deaths. The Madurese who first arrived in Kalimantan in 1930 were part of the transmigration program launched by the Dutch colonial government and continued by the Indonesian government. The number of Madurese citizens then became significant in the economic arena in Central Kalimantan. Then in 2000, it was recorded that transmigrants made up 21% of the population of Central Kalimantan. The Dayak tribe is reportedly dissatisfied with the competition that continues to come from increasingly aggressive Madurese. Additionally, new regulations have allowed Madurese to gain control over many of the province's commercial industries such as timber, mining and plantations. Such situations are exacerbated by different, perhaps even conflicting, habits and values. For example, the madurese custom of carrying a machete or sickle wherever they go makes the Dayak see that their guest is always ready to fight at that time. Because, for Dayak people, carrying sharp weapons is only done when they want to spear or shoot. When they are involved in everything from wrongly mowing the grass to land issues. Maybe a problem that was originally small exploded into chaos, like the anger that erupted in Sampit many years ago. However, it is different compared to today because Sampit is now known as a city that is peaceful, prosperous and the health of its residents is harmonious. Sampit has become a very comfortable place to live for its citizens and has learned from past events that hatred between compatriots and fellow countrymen will only give rise to losing parties and create endless disputes.